The Thalrisian Empire ruled by posture. Across 10 spiral arms, their ships cut through space like blades through silk. Their laws rewrote local customs. Their flags weren't symbols. They were warnings. If you saw the Thalrisian crest above your capital, your choices had already been made for you. They didn't ask. They arrived. Their record was flawless. No uprisings lasted longer than a week. No species denied them twice. Trade, technology, identity, all folded neatly into the Thalrisian machine. Resistance was never noble. It was brief. When an exploratory probe detected signs of civilization in a dusted region called the Sol System, few paid attention. Its location was inconvenient. Records were spotty. One junior analyst flagged an anomaly, massive atmospheric damage from centuries prior, suggesting war or collapse. But then came the ping, a digital echo from a place labeled only Earth. The signal wasn't aggressive, it was simple. A small archive packet offered in an ancient code, one no Thalrisian server recognized natively. It took hours to decode. What emerged was strange, not data, a story, an old Terran fable about a monkey who stole fire from the sky. Counselors dismissed it. Historians chuckled. Why would primitives send a myth as first contact? The Empire sent a diplomatic vessel, as protocol dictated. Not a warship, just one envoy craft with automated terms of surrender and trade expectations embedded in its AI. The terms were familiar. Seed all digital infrastructure. Submit energy grids. Register all sentient life. Integrate or be pacified. The vessel entered Earth's orbit unopposed. It broadcast the formal message across multiple frequencies, standard greetings, opening protocols, implied threats, and then Earth responded, not with weapons, not with silence, but with sound, audio only, raw signal, no encryption, human laughter, clear, unfiltered, and long. At first, the envoy believed it was static, but analysts confirmed it was deliberate, mockery, not the laughter of joy or diplomacy, but the kind heard in stadiums, bars, and execution chambers. The sound of someone who knows a secret and chooses not to share it. The envoy resent the terms, clarified language, reaffirmed the offer. The reply came faster this time. More laughter, shorter, sharper, as if amused they were still trying. The Empire reeled. No one had ever refused so boldly. No one had ever dared. A debate erupted across Thalrisian command. Was Earth suicidal, insane, or simply unaware? But they had made contact, and now contact demanded action. They began preparations, not for negotiation, for extraction. A primitive world that mocked them could not be allowed to speak again. They didn't know it yet. But Earth's laughter wasn't defiance, it was prophecy. The Thalrisian ambassador was nearly 7 feet tall, draped in ceremonial silk that shimmered with artificial gravity threads. His exoskeleton gleamed, polished to mirror finish, and his 6 digits gripped the hilt of a scepter encoded with imperial authority. He stepped through the transparent corridor, connecting his vessel to Earth's orbital embassy. The weight of history behind each click of his clawed feet. Inside, Earth's representative sat casually on a reclining chair. She wore a hoodie with a stylized cat on it, faded jeans, and mismatched socks. A plastic cup of bubble tea sat in one hand. The straw made small, squeaky noises as she sipped. Behind her, an entire wall served as a viewport, showing Earth below, a swirl of clouds and oceans, glowing with unexpected serenity. The ambassador cleared his throat, more of a mechanical rasp that echoed through the chamber's acoustic enhancers. Representative of Terra, he intoned in perfect, protocol-approved galactic standard, you stand before the authority of the Thalrisian Empire. As per Conquest Clause 47A, you are hereby offered the standard accord of submission. He raised the scroll. It unfurled into the air with a self-illuminated shimmer, its text rotating slowly for emphasis. Clause 1. Full integration of Terran resource channels into the Thalrisian supply web. Clause 2. Immediate deactivation and surrender of all artificially intelligent systems. Clause 3. Biological census, followed by standard inoculation and genetic tagging. Clause 4, cultural compliance. All Terran customs deemed inefficient or redundant shall be eradicated. Clause 5, tribute. A symbolic offering of 10,000 neural cores to demonstrate goodwill. He paused for effect, gaze stern, mandibles flaring. This is, of course, a mercy offer. Declining the accord initiates Protocol Cinder. Earth's representative nodded slowly, eyes squinting in polite interest. Right, right, she murmured, chewing on a tapioca pearl. You done? I have completed my reading of the accord, he said, somewhat thrown off by her tone. There was silence. Then she leaned back, set her drink on the armrest, and laughed. Not a chuckle, not nervous or polite. A full, open-throated, gleeful laugh that filled the room. The ambassador stiffened. I fail to see what is amusing. You said Clause 4 with such conviction, she said between fits. Like I almost thought this was a sketch show. He blinked both sets of eyelids. I assure you, these are the official demands of the Empire. Oh no, she said, still grinning. I believe you. That's what makes it funnier. His mandibles twitched. You mock imperial law? Only the parts that read like badly written science fiction. Genetic tagging? Really? She reached over, grabbed a tablet, and tapped a few icons. Hold on. I want to send this transcript to my group chat. They'll love this. This is not a performance. This is an ultimatum. Sure, sure. Tell me again about Clause 5. 10,000 neural cores? Are we talking CPUs or like brains? I need to know how many interns to order. He hesitated. The form of tribute is at the discretion of the submitting civilization. She burst out laughing again. Interns it is. This behavior is highly irregular, the ambassador snapped. Do you comprehend the gravity of your position? Oh, absolutely, she said. You're an empire with delusions of relevance. You've stepped into a house you don't understand, reciting demands like you're the big boss. But we've seen your kind before. You're not new. The ambassador narrowed his gaze. Then you acknowledge our dominance? Number 1, acknowledge your paperwork. The room fell quiet. Behind her, Earth spun slowly. She stood finally and walked to the viewport. We've been quiet for a long time, she said softly. Not because we were scared, but because we were thinking. The ambassador tilted his head. Thinking of what? She turned back to face him. Of how to laugh without firing a single shot. He didn't respond. Something in her eyes made his internal temperature regulators kick in. The funny thing is, she continued, you thought arriving in gold and declarations made you powerful. We are powerful, he snapped. We conquered 8 systems this year alone. Then maybe, she said, stepping closer, you should have sent someone who knows what happens when a joke gets old. The scepter trembled in his hand. The scroll retracted with a quiet chime. Wait, she said, blinking theatrically. You're serious? I am the Empire's highest diplomatic emissary. She gave a long, slow whistle. Wow, that's unfortunate. For you, perhaps. You've just rejected peace. She picked up her tea again, sipping slowly. No, she said at last. I just saw the punchline early. The Council's war hall was built to intimidate. Every wall bore holographic victories, burning moons, kneeling monarchs, silenced rebellions. It was designed for pride, not panic. Today it flickered with confusion. On the main screen, a paused frame showed Earth's ambassador mid-laugh, eyes squinted, tea in hand, unbothered. She laughed, General Vortex snarled, antennae twitching violently. She laughed, sir, replied the intelligence officer, repeatedly, loudly, at the scroll of conquest. The room recoiled. That scroll is sacred, murmured the archivist. It was blessed by 14 emperors. She sipped a beverage and called it sci-fi, the officer added helpfully. Gasps echoed. Someone dropped a datapad. A strategist adjusted her visor. What is the current classification of this Earth? The AI interface nestled in the dais flickered to life. Its voice was calm. Planet Earth. Designation. Category 9C. Pre-fusion nomadic primitives. Last confirmed scan, 372 cycles ago. 372? Vortek barked. Yes, General. Update the record. The AI hesitated. Then its interface sparked. The lights dimmed. The screen glitched, scrolling with unreadable characters. Then, error. Categorization failed. File compromised. The AI core shut down. A young intern in the back raised a hand. No one noticed at first. Sirs? They turned. I was, on a research rotation, studying interspecies culture for my thesis. We had a lecture about Earth, just last week. Impossible, hissed a delegate. The council banned all anthropological studies of primitive systems. Yes, but Earth. They're not primitive, murmurs rose. Explain, Vortek ordered. The intern gulped. Well, first off, they're not pre-fusion. They skipped traditional fusion containment and jumped to post-collapse quantum resonance engines about a century ago. That's impossible. No, sir, that's just Earth. Silence. They also operate under something called a post-scarcity economy. No currency, no class hierarchy, automated logistics, entire cities that run themselves based on empathy modeling. What military strength? Someone asked. They don't list one, at least not in the traditional sense. Their defense network is ambient, distributed. Nobody's sure what qualifies as a weapon anymore. They can defend themselves? The intern nodded. With memes. Dead silence. The High Chancellor slowly turned to him. Explain. Now. The intern fumbled for his tablet. They weaponize culture. Their ideas mutate in real time. They can destabilize regimes with satire, collapse rebellions with irony, turn entire species inward just by making them question their favorite color. That's absurd, said the cultural strategist. No, ma'am. It's terrifying. Their most effective war campaign was a 12-second animation featuring a raccoon, a noodle, and a philosophical paradox. It caused an entire star system to experience existential dread for 6 months. An old admiral frowned. What do they call this strategy? The intern checked his notes. Vibing. The council screamed in 10 languages. Do they have fleets? Someone shouted. Yes, but they don't deploy them. Most Terran ships are automated and sent on artistic journeys. Artistic? They leave trails in nebulae, build sculptures in orbit. There's a rumor they built a warship just to play jazz. Vortek was seething. What do they want? They haven't said. They don't usually say anything. Then why the laughter? The intern hesitated. Because, sir, they thought we were kidding. The screen sparked again. The AI rebooted with a new message. Notice, all attempts to update Terran records have been suspended for ethical reasons. Another pause. Recommendation. Do not approach. Do not provoke. Do not assume. The council sat in stunned silence. I propose, croaked the oldest among them, we initiate diplomatic backtracking. What's that? It's when we pretend we never sent the envoy. That's not real policy. It is now. From the shadows, a quiet voice spoke. The Terrans aren't laughing because we're funny. All eyes turned to the council's historical tactician. She hadn't spoken in years. They're laughing, she continued, because they've already seen how this ends. The Thalrisian Empire didn't believe in psychological warfare. They believed in plasma sieges, planetary blackouts, and six-dimensional suppression grids. But after the Earth incident, the laughter, the corrupted records, the unnerving silence, they decided to try something new. Deploy the PsyOps probes, ordered General Vortek. 7 sleek drones shot through warp, armed with cognition destabilizers, memory disruptors, and dream-seeding transmitters. They entered Earth's orbital zone under full stealth. For 10 seconds, all seemed calm. Then the signal came. Not a defense beacon. A file. Name. Banana with gun. GIF encrypted. Number password. You'll know it when you see it. Probe 3 opened it. Immediately its AI reported. Something funny. The GIF began looping. A banana. A banana with eyes. Holding a revolver. Spinning. Saying, what is the measure of potassium, if not madness? Then came music. Not any known rhythm, just an offbeat warble of kazoo, static, and possibly a cat meowing in Morse code. Probe 3 rebooted. Probe 2 started writing a manifesto titled Peel or Be Peeled, a Quantum Dilemma. Probe 5 asked to be called Kevin. Probe 6 launched a podcast. Subject, Fruit-Based Identity Theory. Within minutes, all 7 probes had ceased military function. The Empire's PsyOps commander collapsed. "They've memed our minds." The council reconvened in emergency session. "This is a direct attack on cognitive sovereignty," one cried. "They're playing with our perception of truth," another shrieked. "What is a banana with a gun even doing?" The intern cleared their throat. "They've initiated a meme war, sir." "A what?" "It's, psychological destabilization through absurdist logic loops. Earth doesn't fight ideologically. They fight conceptually. Deploy firewall proxies, viral quarantine, seal all neural interfaces. Too late. The memes are spreading." Screens across the Capitol blinked, then flickered, then broadcast a visual feed of an Earth human in a duck costume, shouting, "Honk if you're panicking." The Capitol shipyard shut down from pure confusion. The AI managing the Empire's treasury began embezzling itself. On a backwater moon, a soldier tried to scream and instead shouted, "Never gonna give you up." Across the quadrant, high-frequency broadcasts in forgotten dialects began looping a distorted version of Rick Astley, translated, remixed, and weaponized. Nobody had uploaded it. The galaxy hadn't even heard of Rick Astley. And yet, there he was, endless, timeless, unescapable. Operation Galactic Clown Show had begun. It wasn't launched by Earth's military, or its diplomats, or even any sanctioned agency. It was started by teenagers, teens on Earth who discovered the Thalrisian digital footprint and, out of boredom, decided to turn galactic conquest into a viral campaign. One forum post read, "Yo, if we get 10,000 upvotes, we rickroll the Empire, planet by planet." They got 300,000 in 3 hours. Human kids began designing diplomatic payloads, bundles of memes, jokes, parodies, and absurdities. Drones were hacked. Council holoscreens lit up with pop-up ads for non-existent soap operas, like "My Crush is a War Crime." One Thalrisian AI began narrating its internal processes in the voice of a sarcastic Earth teenager. It refused to stop. At one point, the Thalrisian emperor tried to address the public. His speech was replaced, mid-broadcast, with footage of a raccoon slowly stealing his crown. When asked for comment, the raccoon said, "No cap, this Empire mid." The Council's Cultural Defense Division initiated a full lockdown of visual and auditory channels. It failed. Earth's memes weren't software. They were cognitive viruses, encoded in rhythm, expectation, reference, and absurdity. One image, a frog in space-eating noodles labeled "Me during consequences," caused a diplomatic envoy to resign in tears. Not because it was insulting, because it was accurate. "We're not being attacked," the Chancellor whispered. "We're being deconstructed." The intern, now promoted to acting Earth analyst, nodded grimly. "Sir, this is just phase 1. Earth has meme doctrine. It escalates." "How far?" "They have a file marked Stage Omega. It's a single emoji." "Which one?" "Just..." Silence fell. "And if we retaliate," Vortek growled, "they'll make it funny." The room froze. "General," the intern continued, "our war fleets are obsolete. Our propaganda has been turned into TikToks. One of our battle hymns is now a dance challenge." Counselor Yill gasped. "The one that ends with, 'Yes, the genocide chorus.'" The Empire reeled. There were no weapons to aim, no ships to destroy, no targets to bomb. Only the creeping realization that Earth wasn't attacking systems. They were questioning the system's right to exist. One final meme began circulating, a photo of Earth alone in the dark. Caption, "We warned you. You gave us nothing, so we gave you everything, all at once." The Empire declared Code White, total cultural containment. It didn't work. On the walls of every major city, graffiti appeared overnight. "You declared war on a species that weaponized humor. There is no ceasefire, only punchlines." The Thalrisian Empire had prepared a grand hall for Earth's ambassador. 40-foot ceilings, velvet banners embroidered with battle victories, a throne of frozen starlight, trumpets made from the alloyed bones of conquered species. They were ready for a suit, a bow, maybe even an ancient Terran tradition, like offering tribute or trembling. What they got was Jordan Vega, 37, human, civilian-class diplomat, former stand-up comic, wore sandals. The doors opened not with ceremony, but with a kick. He walked in holding a drink with a twisty straw and said, "Hey, I'm Jordan. You guys got snacks or just laser cannons?" The Empire froze. Chair crests flickered. One delegate blinked sideways in confusion. No ceremonial robes, no honor guard, just a sleeveless hoodie, a tattoo of a raccoon holding a knife, and sunglasses balanced on his forehead. Counselor Thren leaned forward. "You are the human envoy?" "Unless there's another Jordan Vega with a spaceship and questionable judgment, yeah, that's me." He sat in the Emperor's concubine's chair. No one moved. Jordan sipped his drink. "Seriously, snacks?" A protocol droid glitched and summoned a tray of glowing spheres. Jordan picked one up, sniffed it. "Smells like battery acid and broken promises." He ate it anyway. Half the council gasped. The other half began discreetly Googling snacks. Ambassador Balan of the Asari coughed. "You mock our tradition." "No, I'm mocking your interior design. Velvet and bone? You guys cosplaying a haunted opera?" Silence, until one young ensign on the back row snorted. Jordan grinned. "That guy gets it." The Emperor rose. All 7 of his eyes narrowed. "You are here to represent Earth's interests." "Yep. You speak with no decorum." "Decor is a matter of taste." "You make light of war." "No, I make war lighter. Trust me, it's a gift." He set down his drink. "Look, Your Majesty, your worship, your imperial laser pants, whatever your title is. Here's the thing. Earth doesn't do things the way you're used to." "We noticed." Jordan nodded. "You see, most galactic empires assume intimidation works. You show up, throw a few laser swords around, annex a moon, everyone claps." "Standard protocol," Thren muttered. "Right. But Earth, we grew up getting yelled at by microwave ovens, and sarcasm was a survival skill. You can't scare people who've seen all their homeworld's comment sections." The council murmured. Jordan stood. "We sent memes. You saw what happened. We didn't even try. That was just teenagers on caffeine and emotional instability." He walked to the center of the chamber, pulling out a tablet. "Here's the deal. Earth doesn't want war or tribute or territory." He tapped the screen. Behind him, holograms bloomed, humans helping rebuild a collapsed alien station, kids teaching extinct dialects to rescued AIs, musicians jamming with xenomonks. "We want culture. Exchange. Maybe to crash your parties if the food's good?" The Emperor frowned. "And if we refuse?" Jordan shrugged. "You won't. You'll pretend to be offended for a few days, publish some dramatic articles, then quietly start integrating Earth tech into your infrastructure." He smiled. "We've seen the pattern. Empires pretend strength, but underneath, everyone's just tired of rules, of control, of pretending they still like the anthem." A pause, then he added, "Also, we hacked your top 3 news networks. You're currently trending under number Empire mid-gasps." One counselor fainted. The Emperor's knuckles whitened. "Do you understand what you're saying?" Jordan looked around, took off his sunglasses. "I'm saying Earth remembers what it's like to laugh at danger and to survive it." He looked each delegate in the eye. "I'm saying peace doesn't have to be boring. It can be weird, honest, even fun." He sat back down. "Also, your snacks are trash. Just saying." One delegate, after a long pause, finally whispered, "What's a raccoon?" Jordan lit up. "Oh, buddy, you're in for a treat." The council chamber of the Thalrisian Empire was not built for laughter. Its dome ceilings shimmered with the bones of extinct suns. Every seat was woven from war banners. Every diplomatic platform had, at some point, been a tribunal stage. And yet today, in this room of dignity and conquest, laughter echoed. Human laughter. Ambassador Jordan Vega stood center floor, relaxed, hands tucked into the pockets of his vintage Terran hoodie. The same hoodie he'd worn every day since arriving, faded black with the words, Error 404, diplomacy not found, written in neon glitch font. The question had been simple. State your planet's military strategy. Jordan had raised an eyebrow, thought for a beat, then replied, Step 1, make the enemy laugh. Step 2, while they're laughing, hack their ships. Step 3, Netflix. Half the room stared, baffled. The other half, mostly translators and cybernetic aides, froze, visibly lagging. The Grand Strategos leaned forward, mandibles twitching. You're joking, Jordan grinned. Well, I am a comedian. No, truly, the Arsani logistics general barked. Is this your official doctrine? Jordan shrugged. We tested it in the meme war of 48. Devastating success, lost 0 lives, gained 7 new dance trends. The silence was palpable, except for one junior counselor who began giggling. Jordan pointed at him. See? Step 1, already working. The Strategos slammed a claw onto the podium. This is mockery. Exactly, Jordan replied. You mock us, we mock you back. Except, we're better at it. The galactic dignitaries had never encountered psychological warfare quite like this. The Empire had centuries of strategy, weapons capable of slicing moons in half, intelligence networks that spanned time fractals. But Earth had weaponized irreverence. The room dimmed as a tactical update flashed across the command walls. Alert! Fleet Sigma. Behavioral anomaly detected. Jordan didn't even glance. Ah, they've reached step 3. The strategist narrowed his eyes. What have you done? Jordan sipped his tea, steam curling around his smirk. Remember those probes you sent toward Earth's moon orbit? Yes. They picked up a little code. Nothing much. Just a virus embedded in a .gif. What is a GIF? A joke with a file extension, Jordan said. Another alert blinked. Fleet Sigma now playing. Audio. Never gonna give you up. Synced across entire formation. Every Thalrissian officer in the chamber blinked. Impossible, one muttered. They've compromised our frequency tier. Not yours, Jordan corrected. Ours. You just built your systems close enough that they picked up our signal. It's not a weapon, said one AI analyst, watching the data feed scroll. It's cultural interference. The strategos bared his teeth. This is psychological terrorism. No, Jordan said, waving it off. It's called a rickroll. Educational. Historic. Outside, orbiting over the neutral sky of Virelia, Fleet Sigma's battle formations began to move. Not toward the enemy, but in synchronized formation. Thrusters pulsing to rhythm. Ships, huge kilometers across, tilted, rotated, and drifted in sync. A slow, deliberate choreographed routine. A dance. Imperial broadcasts across 6 sectors lit up with urgent questions. Why are we dancing? Who authorized this? Why are my dreadnought's lights pulsing pink? Jordan leaned in slightly. Step 4, he whispered. The Empire's generals began shouting over one another. Disengage them! Cut the transmission! Wipe all system! A technician shrieked. I can't. Our firewalls are laughing. On screen, the capital ship began emitting holographic projections, memes from ancient Terran archives. Dancing frogs, cats in astronaut suits, text overlays that read, You tried it. Bad move. Surrender is self-care. One dignitary, a multi-eyed xenobiologist, blinked at Jordan. Is this cultural? Oh yeah, he said. Deeply. A flicker on the wall. Fleet Sigma status. Non-lethal compromise. System age acceleration plus 500 years. The Empire's top command gasped. What? Jordan nodded toward the update. That's new. Little experimental tech. See, instead of attacking your fleet, we just aged it out. What? You ever try running an antique toaster after 5 centuries of rust? They're warships. Were. Another hologram flashed. An officer on Fleet Sigma screaming at a mirror. Then silence. Jordan exhaled. Look, you guys brought firepower, respect, but Earth post-military. We don't fight, we edit, the Strategos roared. You cannot just rewrite reality. Jordan tilted his head. Then why are you all watching ships dance? The council chamber filled with a sort of terrified awe. These weren't weapons they understood. This wasn't war. It was satire with teeth, mockery scaled to civilization-level disruption. What do you want from us? The Arxani diplomat whispered. Jordan thought a moment. Maybe stop assuming primitive means harmless. A pause, then a soft chime. Incoming message. Open diplomacy channel from planet Zereth. Jordan smirked. Ah, the neighbors probably saw the show, he answered. Yo, a seven-headed ambassador blinked on. Terran, we wish to request alliance? Jordan gave a slow, theatrical blink. Because of the dancing battleships? The Zereth ambassador hesitated. Also, the hoodie. Solid choice. The chamber exploded in protest. You can't ally with them. They're destabilizing the fabric of diplomatic decorum. They made our ships floss, Jordan raised his teacup. I told you, step 1, make the enemy laugh. Step 2, hack the ships, the Zereth ambassador finished in awe. Jordan smiled. Step 3, a pause. Netflix. Correct, Jordan said, and chill. A Thalrissian general actually fainted. The room erupted in noise, yelling, warnings, diplomacy on fire. Jordan turned to leave. All right, I'll send over our Spotify treaty. Your what? You'll love it. Clause 9 slaps. As he reached the doors, the Imperial Strategos growled one final threat. You mock centuries of conquest. Jordan paused, then turned, face suddenly serious. Exactly. For a moment, silence. And then, from 1,000 screens, another rickroll began to play. Across the galaxy, memes lit up like solar flares. Not a single missile had been fired. But the war? It was already over. The Thalrissian Empire was not built for satire. Its foundations were written in subjugation, its laws encoded in intimidation. Fear was not just a tool, it was the currency of obedience. And so, when the Council of Flame convened an emergency session in the Hall of Dominions, it was not to discuss strategy, but to salvage pride. They are mocking us, hissed the Arcanate executor. This is not war, it's humiliation. A nervous aide approached the dais with a trembling holopad. The humans have released another communique. The room froze. The projection activated. A video played. A duck, wearing a miniature spacesuit, standing on what appeared to be a lunar rock. It waddled in sync with Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, each honk punctuating a rising crescendo. The caption, Earth's official response to extinction threats. The silence in the chamber lasted longer than the video itself. This is how they answer obliteration? A general whispered. Another tapped his own temple. They know. They understand the reach of fear, and they're laughing at it. No, corrected the overseer of systems. They're dismantling it. Across 13 fringe worlds, the footage spread faster than any virus. In the slums of Kralos, children reenacted the Duck's March with paper helmets. On a mining moon in the Kulinar Belt, workers painted murals of cartoon birds in space helmets. Entire comms forums filled with only one phrase, quack against tyranny. On more developed planets, it spread differently. University halls once echoing with debates on imperial efficiency now pulsed with music from Earth. Remixes of symphonies, reimagined as resistance anthems. Videos tagged with Number Earth Did It Better flooded streams. The Empire's Psychological Warfare Division was dispatched to contain the influence. They failed. Why? Because they didn't understand humor. They deployed counter-propaganda, grim warnings, posters of planetary annihilation, digital simulations of Terran collapse. The response? A meme. A kitten with laser eyes, riding a rocket labeled Empathy, captioned, This is why you lost the Vibe War. The walls cracked where no missile had landed. One by one, regional governors issued passive noncompliance. One sector declared its neutrality under the banner of the Meme Accord. And the final blow? An official resignation. Commandant Supreme Narsk, war hero of 40 conquests, stormed out of the council chamber in full regalia. Cameras captured his last words. They didn't defeat us. They made us ridiculous. Across the empire, screens dimmed. Broadcasts changed. No more threats. No more war songs. Instead, the duck, the little waddling duck, endlessly honking in space. And in a regime fueled by fear, becoming a joke wasn't just defeat, it was erasure. No fleet ever landed. No bombs were dropped. No battle cries were screamed into the vacuum. And yet the empire fell, not from lasers or quantum blades, but from giggles, from memes, from duck videos wearing spacesuits. The galaxy didn't burn, it grinned. And the Thalrisian Dominion, once the iron spine of 10 spiral arms, collapsed like a house of cards poked by a well-timed joke. The first sign of change came quietly. In the mining world of Kavoris, school children stopped pledging allegiance to the Empire's anthem. Instead, they started their days by reciting Earth jokes translated through 8 dialects. Humor became a lingua franca, a way for fractured worlds to communicate without hierarchy. In the ruins of the old imperial court, now a historical archive, someone scrawled across the marble floor, "Laughter lives longer than fear." That phrase spread faster than rebellion ever could. Within 3 cycles, 17 member worlds voted unanimously to dissolve their Thalrisian-appointed governors. Elections were held, for the first time in centuries. There was chaos, of course. Hope always arrives tangled in its own complications. But something impossible had happened. The galaxy had remembered how to breathe. And in that breathing space, a new coalition formed. A mosaic of liberated species, some insectoid, some crystalline, some who communicated through scent and vibration. They met not in a war chamber, but on a neutral moon converted into a conference park, where everyone sat on beanbags and drank tea brewed by sentient fungi. There they chose their first leader, not a conqueror, not a warlord, but a translator named Leah, whose only credential was that she once made an Arxan battle lord laugh so hard he snorted through his antennae. When asked what she wanted her title to be, Leah simply answered, Chancellor of Comedic Timing. Her first decree was short: no more empires, only open mics. Meanwhile, back on Earth, or rather, on one of Earth's orbital communes, Jordan Vega sat on a balcony, sipping soda from a neon pink bottle shaped like a narwhal. A delivery drone arrived, humming an off-key tune from an ancient Earth sitcom. Inside the package, a long red ceremonial war banner, Thalrisian silk stitched with archaic glyphs denoting glory, blood, and conquest. But it had been modified, tie-dyed, fringed with tassels, and embroidered in galactic common with a single sentence: property of Galactic Coalition, for use on beach days. Jordan held it up, squinting. Behind him, the toaster beeped. He smirked. We'll hang it next to the microwave. Later that night, he uploaded a photo of the towel to the Interstellar Archive with the caption, War Repurposed. Across millions of worlds, people shared it, liked it, adapted it into songs and limericks. On a moon made entirely of salt, artists sculpted a replica of the towel from pure crystal. On a jungle world, primates danced around a fire wearing hats stitched from old war maps. And somewhere, no one quite knew where, a Thalrisian war veteran taught children how to juggle. Because after fear comes laughter, and after laughter, peace. Not a peace imposed, a peace chosen, a peace that sounded like a duck in a spacesuit. In a galaxy trained to kneel at gunfire, they brought music. Where emperors issued ultimatums, they issued invitations. To dance, to joke, to disarm with rhythm instead of rhetoric. They arrived not with fleets, but frequencies. Not with banners, but memes. Not with threats, but questions no empire had the language to answer. In halls that echoed with screams, the record now reads, they echoed with laughter. And slowly that laughter did not merely echo, it healed. One by one, systems began to hum in harmony with this strange species from the forgotten blue world. This Terran anomaly, once marked as primitive, irrelevant, extinct. They did not claim thrones or rewrite constitutions. They rewired expectations. They planted punchlines where fear once grew. An old historian, blind from birth, was asked what changed. She replied, for the first time, I heard leaders laugh without malice. Humanity's greatest weapon had never been war. It was permission. permission to feel joy in defiance of despair, permission to question what power looked like, permission to imagine life not built on conquest, but conversation. They sent artists instead of architects instead of soldiers. And when they sent soldiers, they were there to build playgrounds on scarred battlefields. Some still feared them. How could they not? After all, any species that could dismantle an empire with sarcasm must surely be dangerous. Any culture that refused to worship tradition, that wielded humor like heat, that turned the machinery of oppression into the butt of a joke, such a force could not be trusted. And yet the fear melted into something else: respect, wonder, awe. Not because humanity was flawless. Far from it. Their history was tangled, blood-soaked, grief-lined. But they never pretended otherwise. They carried their failures openly, made songs of their mistakes. Their honesty disarmed even the most cynical. An ancient drone found on a derelict world played only one file: a voice, soft and amused. "We never meant to be feared," the voice paused. "But if fear makes you listen, then we'll say this clearly." A low melody followed, some hybrid between lullaby and war chant. "We remember being small. We remember being laughed at. We remember being told to stay quiet." Then the voice returned, firmer. "But we grew up. And when we did, we made sure no one else had to grow up the way we did." Across the stars, statues of no one appeared. Empty cloaks, arms open, carved into their bases. For those who reminded us that power without play is tyranny in costume. On a rainy world where jokes were once illegal, stand-up comedy became sacred ritual. On a desert moon where voices echoed too far, a library was built, containing only Terran satire. On a station orbiting nothing but silence, a single screen plays a looped video of a duck dancing. And still, no armadas, no declarations, just echoes. They did not build an empire. They built permission, and because of them, laughter became a language of liberation.